Hello? Hello? Are you there? Can anyone hear me? Hopefully this is working. Hopefully I can get something from here. Let's see. All right. Okay. I'm wondering. Actually, this might be better if I don't know. Let's see. What if I were to change that? Okay. Let's see. Properties. Hang on, just give me a quick second here. Oh, that's actually quite a bit cut off. Hang on. There we go. Maybe. Will that work? Maybe. A little bit, yeah. Actually, let's see. Hello, folks. I'm trying something new. Clearly, I'm not so used to this. Trying different things. You can see some of what I've got here over here in what's Novum. Okay, if you're confused, please don't be confused, but this is a synthesizer. It's a granular synthesizer from a company called Dawsome, and they are awesome. And I've been quite obsessed with this ever since I got it. Because it allows me to do granular synthesis. If you're not used to what granular synthesis is or don't know what it is, it's essentially like if you were to take a sample and play through different parts of the sample at different speeds and repeat them in a way where you can craft a new sound. So I've been doing a number of experiments in it, and I was kind of in the mood for doing some more sound design today, and so I figured I'd completely switch gears away from a game and dive into something like this instead. So let me just what was that? I don't know. Okay. Let me see here. Yes, we've got that. Okay, so I've initialized a sound. I'm just going to go through a folder of things that I have here just to see what I want to do, what I want to use for this. Okay, so, we're just going to start from an initialized patch and go from there. I don't know how much I'm going to talk during this process, but I might talk a little bit about it just in general to hear things. Okay, you can't hear. Wait a minute. Real quick, you can't hear. Let's just change that to that. There we go. Let's bring that down. It's a bit loud. Just a little bit. Just previewing some samples that I made. Just to see what I can start with. If I can get some ideas. Bit bassy one. And both of those are kind of bassy though. Eee. Alright. I don't know if I'm feeling any of those. At least not the ones that I just previewed. What's this one? Let's start with that one, actually. Gonna do that, and then we're gonna switch to working with that. So here's what's gonna happen with this little... I can hear that, can't you? It's a little bit, Ooh. Wait, was that? Hang on. Aha. Okay. I was worried about what that little weirdness in the sound was actually caused by, so that's just it getting to the end of the clip there. So let's mute these and listen to these parts separately. What's cool about this, what's really cool about Novum, is it takes a single sample. Normally with granular synthesis, you put a sample into the editing space, and you can change the size of the grain or the size of the actual loop that the audio will play through and repeat to make the new sound, right? So you can have it really low. So let's see. Actually, let's bring the density down. Bigger grain size plays more of the sample, right? Because the actual region it plays is longer. Now, speed is how fast in either direction this little emitter here will actually move through the sound. So if I want it to go through from one point to the next, I could give it positive speed or leave it neutral. But if I wanted it to stay put or go backwards, I would give it minus speed. So density. It's similar to like density in a reverb. It just makes the sound more dense and more smooth in a way. But you can hear this sort of jittery, kind of stuttery type sound. That's because of the size and the grain. So if you listen to this, actually, oh, filter's all the way up. I could probably hear it better with this one. Oh, anyway, I'm all over the place. Sorry. Normally, with a granular synth, you just have a sample as it is. You put it in here, and you'll play it, and you could set your region, your grain size, right? So it's either a big size or a small size. You can hear the effect that has. But just barely. There we go. If I can just raise that up just a little bit. So what's happening there is that the small size is actually looping the sound really, really fast. But because of the different start and end points, it's sort of making a different sound or different pitch, or at least that's the effect that it has. And that's sort of the whole point of granular synthesis. But with Novum, it takes a sample and then through some algorithm that they use in here, it separates the entire sample into 6 different parts. And I think they're separated by spectrum, like frequency spectrum or something. I think this is the lowest end, low, mid, mid, a little higher, higher. Oh, this is really low too. I actually don't know. I think it just identifies elements of a sound that are closer together. Whatever those elements are, it will try to bring those together. And so you can mute any of these. But what's also cool about Novum, and I might show that as I work on this preset, I don't know, is that any one of these little parts here, you can add a sample, an entire sample to each of these, and it won't be separated out into the different spectra. So let's get into it. Let's figure out what I want to do with this sound. Actually, I don't know. I'm just moving things around a little bit. I want to be able to see I also want to be able to hear it myself. Didn't think it was loud enough, but I am only listening to one of the parts, so. By the way, these controls down here, positive jitter is, or position jitter is wherever a new emitter pops up, depending on the size and where it is here in the envelope, it will bounce around from different offset points. So it says there, it adds randomness to the grain particles, which is, you know, what it does and why you hear it a little less predictable here, because before you could hear a little bit, just a little bit, of consistent intervals in the sound. At least in the rate. Skew, I think actually, now this is one of the things that I actually am just a little bit annoyed by with this. It's not a huge deal breaker for me, but it is something that I am not the biggest fan of, is the skew. So with this program, you can't really control the actual envelope of the grains. Like this envelope is for the overall grain direction, like moving forward and backward through the whole sample. But in terms of the size of the grain, you can hear, if I were to do this or do this and bring the density down, you can hear how it starts loud and then gets quiet. And it's usually supposed to keep going. Hang on. All right, you can hear how it's trying to actually keep going. So what happens is if you skew it, you're essentially skewing the envelope of the grain so that if it's all the way over here, I think it has more attack and an instant decay, and this is the opposite. So no attack and fades the decay. Ooh. Ooh, that's interesting. But yeah, you can get some wacky stuff with the size, the grain size being down so low. One thing. Okay, I think it's fine. I think it detected the pitch all right. I think we're good right here. Also, orange chain means that if we change this here, we're changing it for all 6 of these. Make it just a little bit louder. That's probably fine, right? All right. So far, we've got a weird little textured pad type thing. Haven't really changed the overall sound too much. Same thing with like this. Very sci-fi like almost. Or at least very 80s sci-fi. Let's go over to here. Why is this grayed out? Oh, it's because it's muted. Right. Okay. Start point shows you where the overall sound is going to start. And what's cool about this envelope is you can actually change this. So even though the sample came in, has the envelope like this, you can go in and do stuff like that. Which is really, ooh, I like that actually. Oh, that drastically changed the sound. I almost kind of want to save this as it is, or at least as a starting point for a sound. Hmm. We're getting somewhere. Don't fully know where, but we're getting somewhere. All right, I kind of already want to change the envelope. Let's change the slope. So we'll leave that like that. I think that's fine. This one might cause some problems. It sounds the loudest. Okay. Ooh, this one. Cool. Turn all of these on. How loud is this going to be? All right. So far we went from this to this. But we're not done. We're not done. I am going to save this right now as one thing, and then I'm going to build on it. So let's see here. What am I going to save this as? Nah, that's boring. Preset day one. What should I name it? I'm feeling very uncreative today with my names. Day one, patch 1A. Okay. Now this is where things are gonna be a little bit interesting. I am gonna uncheck every single one of these. And we are gonna make some edits to the overall sound because I think that would be interesting. Pitch, transposition, reference pitch, sure. Actually, detune as well. Effects, okay, we got another. We can add effects too. We'll do that later. Let's first mute all of these. Just listening to that. Now this is fine as it is. I'm just gonna mess with some settings here. Oh. I was on the wrong one. Look at that. Well, you know what? I didn't really pay too much attention to how that sounded, so I wouldn't know. Yeah, but see how I bring the speed down? It's pretty much staying in one place. But if I were to move it here, it's going to go that way. Oh, that's too much. Ooh. This is interesting. Hmm. There's parts of that sound that I'm curious why it's making that sort of like crunchy sound, if you could hear that. A little bit of a crunchy quality to it. I don't know why that is, but this could be interesting to have this a little bit, have this pulse in and out like that a little bit. Yeah, maybe. Could work. Maybe. It's got an envelope. We were there. I think this is global. I don't think we're going to be able to change that without affecting everything, so I'm not gonna. And you know what? While we're here, let's edit this. Because they're very similar in sound. Yeah, yeah. Almost exactly the same. So yeah, here's the exaggerated settings of short grain size, low density, but you could hear the timing of each particle is now different. Whereas if it's this, it's all the same. Same thing with position. I actually don't think I'm going to do much there, except maybe reduce the gain a bit. Yeah, maybe that. I'll deal with that later. Do this one now. Now, this thing in the center here, this, I think it's called the grain flour. I forget what this actually technically does, so I'm just clicking some different settings to try and hear. But I think it's supposed to like slightly modify the overall timbre of the sound, maybe? Oh, Jesus, I'm doing the same thing again. Ooh. Damn it, I completely... Ugh. I hate when I do that. I forget what I'm editing. I guess we're living with that sound now, because that was so stupid. Oh, because every time I turn on or off of this, it reselects it. Alright, so hopefully we won't have that issue again. But yeah, density does this. Very noisy, very crunchy sound there. But anyway, this overall is the essence of granular synthesis. With Novum, you can do this essentially with 6 sounds, or rather, a single sound broken up into 6 different parts, and control them differently. But yeah, there's different ways to smooth out the sound. Oh, also offset changes the start position. So if you want to have their start position be here, you can offset that here or here. Also, I think this does change, or rather the full range that you actually see here changes depending on depends on where you are in the pitch. Yeah, see, so lower notes, if you set the speed and you set the envelope to being here, the sound will start over here, but because it's a lower pitch, it's going to go through slowly, more slowly than a higher pitch one where it's going through almost the whole sample. So it still kind of treats the sample as a sample. So if you were to play it at a higher note, it's going to go through it because to pitch it up, it has to speed up the sound. At least that's what seems like is happening here. That's a good one. This one. Oh yeah, so ping pong and cycle just determines where it's going to go. So you could go through it one direction with cycle. You go forward and then backward with ping pong, and you can kind of tell it happening here just a little bit. So it's going down, or it's going to the right, and now it's going back left, going to the right, going back left, going to the right. And then one shot is just one time through. I don't want one shot or cycle. I think I want that. I think that's fine. Also, I think the envelope is global, so each of the, or the ADSR, I should say, is global. Now this one is going to be very interesting. I'm going to do that. I think this sort of gravelly kind of stuttering effect that I'm getting from this is actually, I think it's actually pretty cool. I think it works for this sound. Bring that down, maybe time up. See if I can do something like that. Sounds kind of vocal in its own way, almost like a singer. It's kind of interesting. A little bit of that bright, twinkling pad on top of it. Okay. Now let's see what we can add for... I don't know about... No, not chorus. Not chorus. No, I think this will be something different. Shimmer? Can't go wrong with shimmer. It's already kind of shimmery already, but you can definitely do more shimmers. Maybe not? I don't know. Not have it be so wet. Size, space, lush. I do want it lush. Now I'm just trying to decide if I want it more dry or a little bit more wet. I think... because more wet sounds pretty nice, but I also want some of the other qualities of the sound to come through. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Maybe half and half is the right way to go. There's no EQ. I have to add an EQ in Logic here to get some of the lower frequencies, because it's a little bit weak in the bass. I don't know if I need it to be any stronger in the bass. I think it's a fine sound enough already, especially with all that's going on inside the sound. You could play it in the higher notes and still get stuff out of it. So maybe this is good. I am going to save it. Okay. All right, let's see. See what else we can do. Hmm. 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 I think I might have been too loud there a little while ago. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Okay, I think it's time to maybe think about another preset, another sound. That's a bit loud, even to preview. Oh, drum loop, actually? Oh, whoops. I think I already did that one. All right, it's a little rough. It's kind of nice. It has a little bit of... It's very loud. I'm sorry, that's quite a bit loud. Hmm. Why don't we see what this brings us? So, when you drop in a new sample, it resets, I think, all of the envelopes and all of the settings except for what you have down here. All of this will stay the same no matter what you have selected. See? All the old settings are staying the same. It's just the sample and the sample content has changed. And yes, I think all the envelopes have reverted too. This is kind of cool that I have a very similar sound with just a different sample. Actually, I'm gonna try that. You know what? Yeah. I think that might be interesting to do. Okay, so... How different would that be? I've done this before, it's just... I don't know if I've done it with these samples and this sound. So to know how different these would be... Ooh, listen to that. It's actually quite nice. So yeah, I could just drop in pretty much any sample into here and make it sound different. Ooh. That one's actually very interesting. It's a detuned sample that I added there. And of course, it's already innately a little bit higher in pitch, so it's not gonna be in the same, you know, note range as some of the other ones. Hmm. These settings actually make for a pretty good pad maker, actually. Sorry, that keeps getting really loud. Yeesh. What that would sound like. Ooh. Interesting. Okay, already I have this set pretty high. Which one was that? That. So I'm gonna set these to a lower octave. Because that's another thing. By default, Novum will have your sample import for C2. So if if whatever controller you're using puts C2 in the middle of the key range, then that should be fine. But for the one that I'm using, it actually puts C2 lower. So anything that comes in at C2 is going to tend to be at a higher pitch that I'm used to for my actual keyboard controller. It's a key step. So I want things to be right in the middle at C3 for me. I think C3 is supposed to be like standard middle C for most, but I know that there's some controllers that don't use C3 as that middle. Did I already save this one? I don't think I did yet. But I might have. La 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 la. Eesh. Actually, I kind of do like that sound. It's just very harsh in certain frequencies. So it's like, if you're listening to it a little too loud, and I'm probably listening to it a little too loud, it's kind of weird to listen to. Oh, it's very noisy, very wintry. It's like I'm listening to a winter hellscape, freezing to death. And the cold wind surrounding me. Ooh, this will actually benefit from being pitched down, actually. Let's hear. Ooh. Huh? Oh, dude. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. That's just a horror sound right there. That's like a cluster choir. I should save this version with just that soloed. All right, hang on. Let me listen to this one, hear what that sounds like on its own. Well, that's actually quite nice. Now this one's very vocal. It's very choir-like. Yes, sir. Though. Yeah. I have to change the pitch again, or the root note, actually. I think... Hang on. Let's solo that, hear what that did. I think that's too much. C4 should be fine. And I'll just transpose down one. Yeah, that's a good range. That's a good range. There we go. Whoops, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why did I do that? I didn't unmute everything. Okay. Now, save. There we go. Whiteout conditions. I think I remember making this sample. Never mind. No, I don't. I think that's just a straight up effect sample, not a anything. What does that sound like? Hmm. Another instant pad. I like it. Nice. Nice. Oh, this is another one that's really nice. All right, let's go and check one by one what these sounds are, because I want to know. Ooh. Gain too quiet, maybe? Yeah, gain is definitely quiet. Ooh, what's this? Like a flickering. All right, I like that. I got lost in the sauce a little bit there, just noodling around because I tend to do that. Sometimes I'll hear a sound that I like and I'll just mess with it for hours. If I were completely on my own, that's what I would do. That's just sort of the mode that I'm in. Okay. Yeah. If you couldn't tell by now, I kind of like pads and things like that. And this kind of sound design is just really tickling at everything that I like. So let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I am kind of out of ideas, actually. So yeah. Right. Well. I think... I don't know. I think I've run out of steam a little bit with this. I got just so carried away with these sounds. I think I want to do this again at some point, but yeah, I don't know how much more steam I have to go for the rest of the day because I've been quite busy throughout the day before, getting here to this point. So I'm kind of worn down just a little bit. Wanted to just relax and decompress, doing a little bit of Novum sound design here. And this is just sort of how it looks, how it usually goes. I will have, I'll have a list of samples and stuff that I'll just pull into what I do here. And that's pretty much how that goes, So let's see. Yeah. All right. I think that is where I will actually end it for today, and I'll see how I feel about doing this at some other point. I don't know if I'll do this weekly, bi-weekly. I don't know. I don't know if I'll do anything else. So I hope you enjoyed that. That's just me noodling around in Novum. It's one of the things I like doing. So catch you all later, and as always, have yourselves a good night.